I've seen the worst, and there is nothing left for me to hate, so I can lay me down, my brothers, on the ground. I bled today until Coyote comes to raise me up and carries me
Well, hello. This is a Friday Night Lights edition of the Scottish Rugby podcast. We were going to do it yesterday. We were genuinely prepared to do it yesterday, but then we thought, well, the Scotland team for the game's not out for South Africa game on Sunday. God damn these Sunday kickoffs, and they're delaying everything. So we thought we'd wait until that, so we had more stuff to talk about. This is, of course, the Scottish Rugby podcast brought to you via the Sports Social Network, the spawn of the Scottish Rugby blog. Rory has actually sent me a document about all the blubber should be saying. It needs reviewed. We'll be more organised. Ever since Cammy left, we're going a bit more.
We've been promising to be more organised for a long time.
I like the subtext of Iain saying, Rory sent me a blurb of things to read, but I don't like it, so I'm going to make it different.
No, it didn't. No, it genuinely had lots. Firstly, right, he sent it, and then I had to ask permission to read the bloody thing, so that took like a day and a half. And it's like it's not exactly a document; it's more a logic gate document. It's like if this or this, do we go with this? I don't know.
Listen, tech bro, don't talk your tech speak with me. I don't know. Logic gate? What the hell? Come on now. I'm an old fart.
Says the man who sells...
It's like a 21st century flowchart.
Who sells like... I'm concerned that a man who sells like 200 mile death machines to people is like, I don't know nothing about tech. Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you want to go through a TFT readout screen of a Kawasaki, I'll take you through it, no problem whatsoever. I'll show you all the different things. I'll tell you Newton meters of torque. I'll tell you brake horsepower, PS, and all these different things. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to logic and flowcharts, not an idea.
I don't like. There's nothing that complicated about twisty, go. That's basically all you need to know.
No wonder so many people of our age die on motorbikes.
Yeah, and also
twisty, go. My job is so just. How did Jonny manage to put my entire working life into like two rather childish words repeated regularly?
I've heard you go. This is our twistiest, goest motorbike. This is the one you want.
Hey. I just suggest what's the best outcome for you, and you can make the decision. Anyway, sorry, Iain, we totally derailed you there. There's 3 people tuning in and going,
no, you didn't.
What?
I'm always on the road. What? Who? Us? Again?
Us? Rugby?
Oh, wait, Adrian. Yes. Yes, hello, everyone. Damn it, you have derailed me. You're right. It's easier to, fall off a motorbike, probably to be derailed. We are here in the main pod. We're going to talk. We're going to review the Fiji game. That's what we're going to do. And then in the Patreon bit, you can subscribe to Patreon where we we go in more detail. Also, with the Patreons, you get secret access to a Facebook group where you can ask us all kinds of weird stuff, like about sandwich deals. You can basically ask us anything, and I'll maybe respond. Depends how perverse and disgusting it is. You're going to have to go far. Other than that, yes, we're here to talk rugby.
You will respond.
Yeah. The more perverse and disgusting, the more likely he is to respond.
Yeah.
Everyone has their limits.
I thought you were going to see everyone has their proclivities, and I don't know why I had that in my head. Anyway, move on.
Well, I don't know, Craig, maybe we can talk about that in the Patreon bit. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're on a schedule. News. So the sort of biggest bit of news of Scottish Rugby news, which again, it was breaking yesterday. But see, if we'd done it yesterday, we would have been like, oh, this is hot off the press. Sione Tuipulotu, the Scotland captain, the man who is carving his name into the Glasgow Warriors Hall of Fame as we speak. He has signed on. He's had a contract extension, and it's not just a wee 1 or 2 year deal. It's 3 years. Johnny, how excited are you about
that? Extremely excited. Like, Sione has been one of the brightest spots in a fairly bright couple of years for Glasgow. Doing it now at exactly the same level for Scotland is one of the standout discoveries of the last 5 years, you'd reckon. I was absolutely certain, just like John was, that he was off ski as soon as possible. So getting him for 3 more years is brilliant, because he's what's made Glasgow tick the last couple of years. And if we're going to get 3 more years of that, yeah, I'm buzzing. I joined the Glasgow WhatsApp channel on Wednesday night to be the first person to hear all about it. That's how excited I was. I didn't even know it was a thing until Wednesday.
Either did I. I'm probably not. I'm probably blocked. Craig, his brother Mosesi has just joined over at your neck of the woods. Do you think that's maybe played a part in his decision to stay? You know, that he's got a family member here, and especially a younger brother who you might want to, almost take care of, make sure he settles in.
Yeah, because there's another one coming over apparently that's a hooker, so we'll wait and see. I think that's got a lot to do with it. I think there's a mixture of, I think he feels at home. I think he feels incredibly appreciated. And I think he just feels that, I'm sure he kind of basically said to the SRU in Glasgow, look, this is what I'm being offered elsewhere, but I really want to stay here. If you can try and get close to it, I'll stay. And that's why they've tied him in for 3 years. And I think it's a great thing for Glasgow. It's a great thing for Scotland. As we've probably discussed in the last couple of pods, I'm a great believer in a lot of our superstars going and playing in France and England, etc., and getting a few more different experiences, etc. But I think he doesn't seem to be the sort of player that will rest on his laurels. I think he'll try his best to be, the best he can be for Glasgow and for Scotland. So I don't have a major worry about it. So fantastic news, and just for all you lovely Warrior Nation out there, I will not expect you to be saying anything about Edinburgh being the favourites and having all the money spent on them, because I've got a feeling there's a hell of a lot of money just being spent at the at Scotstoun.
Well, actually, that's another thing I could add. That's, I believe, nearly 15,000 tickets sold for the 1872 game at Hampden. So that's maybe going to cover a couple of months of Sione's contract. Obviously, I'm chuffed about it. Like Johnny said, he's so integral to the way Glasgow play. Also, he just seems like a really nice guy. He seems like a good laugh. He's calm, he's affable. That's when he's doing interviews. Then when you put him on the pitch, he's an absolute thug. He's full of energy. What was Rory's comment? Something like, I'll look it up. We'll talk about it in the Patreon. You can stay for that. So we will go on now to Scotland v Fiji, a 57-17 win, which makes it seem like it was the biggest margin of victory that Scotland have had over Fiji, which makes it seem like it was a foregone conclusion. Jonny, you've only seen the highlights, so that's probably how it seems. Don't know if you've read any match reports. Craig, did you see the game live?
Yeah, I saw the game live, yes. Because I'm a proper fan.
Yeah.
I'm taking a principled stand, Manson. I'm not paying £31 a month for TNT.
See,
when the Champions Cup's just come off TNT, there's no reason for me to have it for the rest of the year. I'm not paying it for 4 games. I'm just not doing it. I'll find a hooky stream and I'll watch the highlights.
It's right. We do not support hooky streams on this podcast. Jonny, for God's sake, you'll get us in trouble again. So, Craig, Scotland burst into a 26-0 lead within 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Then it sort of went a bit. The opening quarter was a Fijian masterclass in indiscipline, and obviously the Fiji were missing a lot of the big names, the prime names, because of it being outside the test window, so they couldn't rely on the likes of Nakia, Levu, Radwara, because they're contracted French teams. So it was a Fijian Drua team who you think would have a bit of cohesion, but they were all over the shop. What did you reckon, Craig?
Yeah, I think the big issue has been the discipline. I think they obviously going a man down, and then a second man, if I remember correctly, just they almost passed each other on the tunnel. The issue you have is you've got they looked strong. When they actually got the ball and had the ball, they looked like they could do a little bit of damage to our defence and things like that. But what was surprising for me with Scotland was the fact that actually when we had the ball, we used it, and we used it to our advantage. And so I think, Fiji. I think there'll be a different kettle of fish this weekend, and I think Wales have got their hands full this weekend. But I think they just went missing, or when they turned up, they gave a penalty away. So it was disappointing on the Fiji side of things.
Yes, I mean, Scotland was the first try. It seemed to actually take forever Scotland to get the first try. There was Ashman had missed the. This is one of the things with Ashman. Ashman had a very mixed game. First line out was a bit squiffy, and I think he got pinched. Second time he had the ball at the back of the maul, then got robbed.
Yeah.
Then he had got his try disallowed with Scuban obstructing him.
Yeah.
The arrows got a lot better.
Yeah.
And eventually one of those led to the Scotland try. Kyle Rowe with his neat finish. Then he had to go off with a hamstring injury. So those are two guys. If anyone who hasn't seen, I did the offside lines player ratings. Rory didn't do any, so you can revert to them. I gave Kyle Rowe a 6.5 because he missed a tackle for the Fijian try. I actually didn't utilise half points much, but it was a great finish. Ashman, very much a mixed game because, like I've said, I gave those instances there. Then he played the 1-2 with Darcy Graham for Darcy's first try. Then he got very close to getting himself sent off. Jonny, you didn't see that. Craig, do you think Ashman was lucky not to get sent off? Because must be.
Oh, I have seen that.
The second one's head contact.
Yeah, I think the issue we have though is. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I think I'm on.
I think I don't know. I feel possibly that me and Craig might be fairly similar on this. I think on another day, that could very well have had him in much bigger trouble. I think it depends heavily on the referee. Craig Evans, I thought, was a bit interested in the bits that I have seen, and I listened to the first half on the radio before I went and watched other bits of it. He seemed a lot card happier on Saturday than he normally is in the URC. I think in the URC, he whistles a lot and he never gives away many cards. And then on Saturday, it was like a card every 2 minutes. So I think the way that was going, I think Ashy was very lucky. I think another referee might not be as lucky. I can kind of see why he got hooked not far after that, because it was looking pretty ropey for a while there.
I think also there was quite a fair few tackles that actually we could have probably seen a couple of Scottish players sent off, at least on yellows, because there was a couple of head contacts in there that were missed, and I kind of was quite surprised that they weren't pulled back for them. I think Ali Price, for one of them, went in and had head contact. So I think it was one of those. The referee's game kind of had my head kind of turned to the side like a dog that was confused, because I thought there was, he was being strong with other things and he was being incredibly loose with others. Yeah.
So a lot of Fijian penalties, the front row got warned repeatedly. Craig, obviously, you'll have a good scrum. Schoeman and Zander, I think both of them got awarded like 2 or 3 penalties each. But I didn't see much of Schoeman and Lewis. Then he was taken off in 48 minutes. Do you think that was just a warm-up for him? Because, well, obviously with the bomb squad we're facing, was it a resting him kind of case, or do you think he was having something in the tank?
No, I think Suz is needing game time, and I think I'm hoping that they took him off to give Suz as much game time as they possibly can. In fact, I think it was they weren't sure what they were going to have with Fiji, so bring Schoeman, have Schoeman starting. And Zander starting and see how it's going to go. And then when they realised it was going to be a bit of a try-fest and a penalty fest, then right, okay, let's get Schoeman off the park and put Suz on to get his game time. Schoeman there wasn't a massive amount of Schoeman in the loose. There wasn't a massive amount of Zander in the loose, to be perfectly honest. But then we didn't use our forwards as much as I expected them to use our forwards. I think we did in set piece, we used our forwards very, very well. But they weren't out in the loose. We were using our back line pretty well this time. But when it came to scrummaging, the Fijians that were available to scrummage, to be on the Fijian forwards that were available, didn't look as fit as they really maybe should be, and also were locking out to try and take the pressure of Schoeman and Zander, and they were just putting their legs too far back and giving penalties away on a regular basis. It was just if I was Schoeman, I would be licking my lips at that sort of job. It was really, really good job. You're on mute, Iain.
Yeah, I was going to say it would help if I'd unmuted my mic. Jonny, one of the stars of the show was obviously Darcy Graham. Back to scoring tries. The man just scores tries everywhere. His first one, like I've said already, was at 1-2 with Ashman. Second one, the awareness to catch on to Adam Hastings' quick penalty. What did you make of Darcy's comeback?
And you're on mute as well, Jonny, so it might be worthwhile taking.
I think Johnny's on mute now as well. We're doing fantastic.
Really, absolutely professional tonight.
Craig's the most professional. That's a sign of the apocalypse if there ever was one. No, I think Saturday it was basically a highlight reel of everything that we've missed about Darcy Graham. He came back, he was electric. He was stepping people like he had no business to escape from. He was rapid. He was exactly where he needed to be. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
He seemed to get past 5 players in about a cubic meter. It's like, who on earth have you done that?
It was ridiculous. He like you say, his awareness was next level, which is kind of what we've been used to from him. He knew exactly where to be, when to be there through the whole game. He was always sort of just that little bit quicker in every single facet than anybody around him. And it's exactly what we've been looking for when he came back. So it's a real shame he's going to miss this weekend. I think this would be a great game for him to really get back into. But hopefully we're not missing him for much longer again, because he's one of those players where we had Kyle Steyn, we had Kyle Rowe, we've got Duhan van der Merwe, obviously. So you kind of allow yourself to forget how good he is until you see him again. You're like, oh yeah, actually he is next level. So hopefully we'll get him back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think
like no.
Sorry, I was just thinking you've got a try with Darcy. You've got all those 4 tries. You've got a try that each member of the team could have had. There was a forwards try when he dived across the line, really low at close quarters. He was stepping in a phone box. He kicked the ball through, even though it was, when I say kicked, he missed the kick, but managed to kick it at least with another part of his leg. Yeah. So there's 2 things I would say. First of all, he will break Duhan's record very, very soon, because he'll be a fit for Portugal, and Portugal, I think, will be a Darcy Graham tri-fest. But what I will say right here, and I've said this many times, and I'm going to just reiterate it because I want to. If he does not go to the Lions next year, there will be mutiny. He is world class. He is probably in the top 5 wingers in the world, and we're a lucky team to have him.
Just out of interest, actually, and I don't want to massively overblow it and blow smoke up ourselves or whatever when there's still so long to go, but
well, there we go. I think
the drama.
Yeah, Andy Farrell's got to him and said that if he's going to say anything about the Lions, he's got him.
Or is it Iain? Yes, sorry everyone, Johnny seems to have frozen on us, so we have no idea what the bot was. One of the things I was going to say, but Darcy Graham's 4th try. Now, the idiot that I am, I might have scrolled down some of the comments after I've written my ratings article. I left it for days, and then I might have scrolled in. And one of them was actually, old Uncle Matt Valance was one of the most downvoted, because he said I was wrong by giving Darcy man of the match. Sorry, player of the match. But it was that 4th try. And what's it? Darcy's just a man who loves scoring tries. And that 4th one, look at where he is. Like you said, I saw a scrum cap. I think I'd maybe gone to write a note, or my eyes were diverted away for a split second. I saw somebody with a scrum cap diving over from 2 meters. I was like, who's all wearing the scrum caps? Right, it's not him. That's off. He looks offy. And then it was Darcy Graham. No, I think we've talked about how the dissolvement of the Sevens programme. Welcome back, Johnny. I hope I've not stolen your butt. Darcy Graham has learned all these. He's learned all this awareness, I think, from playing Sevens. This is a man who appreciates space on the pitch, and when he gets to use it, he uses it effectively, and he's just hungry to score points. Anyway, welcome back, Johnny. Where were you on your?
Did you catch my really fishing hot take, or do you need me to say it?
No,
again?
missed it completely.
We got up to but, and then it dramatically just.
Okay, all right. So here's my massive fishing expedition hot take. All right.
Not again.
The way things are standing at the moment, from 10 to 15 for the Lions next year, who are you taking that's not Scottish? Apart from maybe James Lowe instead of Duhan van der Merwe. But you're taking Finn Russell, you're taking Blair Kinghorn, you're taking Sione. I think we should be taking Darcy.
Andy Farrell's
taking somebody who goes instead of Hugh Jones? Aye, but you shouldn't be.
Ringrose and
I'd be taking Ollie Lawrence as well. I think I'm a massive fan of Ollie Lawrence.
Instead of Hugh Jones.
Well, you see, the problem is Ollie Lawrence and Sione Tuipulotu are both
the
same.
You're 100% not taking Ollie Lawrence instead of Sione.
Yeah, but you're going to take them both.
I like Ollie Lawrence, but I reckon Sione's the best 12 in the world.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'd say you're close. But out of the two, they're almost interchangeable.
I see. The thing is, I don't think, and I'm happy for someone to tell me that wrong. I don't think there's a 12 that kicks as well as Sione, carries as well as Sione, and distributes as well as Sione. There's maybe people who are better than him at one of those, but there's nobody who's as good as him as at all three.
No, I think you're wrong. Anyway, just because you asked me to tell me you're wrong. You asked me to. I think Ollie Lawrence. I think Ollie Lawrence does exactly the same thing.
Really?
Plus, he's playing with Finn in an inside.
He doesn't kick as well.
Anyway, sorry, Iain. You keep looking like you're going to say something, and I keep interrupting.
I'm not really. No. Well, the thing's right. If you are taking Sione, then you have to take Hugh, because Huey Pilotu was in the Six Nations team of the tournament. We know it's a proven lethal combination. Do you want to go mixing that up by throwing Ollie Lawrence in with Hugh Jones? Or, I would echo Johnny's sentiments. I think Ollie Lawrence is a damn good player. I don't think he's as good as Sione Tuipulotu is at the moment, or certainly not playing with
take your blinders
confidence. Whatnot.
Take your blinders off.
No, I think if Sione Tuipulotu has another really good Six Nations, I think we could then make a strong claim for him to be the best inside centre in the world, because he has such a variation on his game. We'll talk about that absolutely disgusting try, which put Duhan van der Merwe. Darcy Graham was level pegging with him for a little bit on 28 tries each. I mean, Darcy's got 28 in 40 games. That's a ridiculous record. The Duhan try, which put him up to 29, you've got that classic Tuipulotu staring the man straight in the face as he's running at him at 400 miles an hour, like, I'm going to smash right through you. Pulls it back to Adam Hastings, who then throws a disgusting behind-the-back pass to Hugh Jones. Or was it Tom Jordan first, I think? Johnny, was that not one of the sexiest back tries you've seen Scotland score for quite some time? Johnny's gone, for flip's sake. I'm not allowed to swear on this, but Craig, was that one of the best back tries you've seen Scotland score?
I think yes and no, and I don't mean to be the pessimist, and I don't mean to be this sort of person, but I'm going to be. I think it's a wonderful piece of skill. I think it was because we were leading, and did we not have a penalty advantage at that point in time as well? I think it gave the sort of allowed you to be a little bit more lax with the ball, and so there wasn't so much. I don't see it happening against a more organised defence, but just in the moment it was beautiful, and it was just as you say, it was filthy. It was a lovely, lovely try, and it was a lovely piece of skill from Adam Hastings. The question I have now is: are we looking at Hastings and Russell being, our 2 10s now for Scotland, and is that going to be the way it's going to be for next year? Is Hastings going to stay fit enough, and is the influence of Glasgow rubbing off on him? That would be the interesting thing to see.
Well, interestingly, regarding that number 10 position, and seeing as we've gone a 6-2 bench, there's been ahead of Springbok game, obviously, there's a few injury issues, so the winger positions aren't ideal. When Tom Jordan came on for Cairo just towards the end of the first half. Then he essentially just had to defend for 10 minutes when Fiji were in the ascendancy. After that, he really grew into the game. Johnny, what did you see of Tom Jordan? I mean, I think it was Darcy's hat-trick try. He was involved twice. From what you've seen in those highlights, what did you make of Tom Jordan's debut? And what do you think about him? He's playing at 15 at the weekend.
Yeah, saw enough to think he's not going to struggle with international rugby. I think he fitted in quite well. He obviously knows he was lucky in that on Saturday it was just the 2 pro teams. He knows the Glasgow players really well. He fitted in quite smoothly with them. But like you say, he linked up really well with Darcy, and I saw him kind of linking up a little bit with Duhan as well. But he certainly seemed to have a bit more chemistry on the Darcy side. It's a shame that he's playing 15 because I like Tom Jordan, and I think he is a really solid attacker, and got some quite interesting things to offer in attack. But I think he's a lot more solid as a defensive player, and I think he's going to be a little bit further away from that sort of action at fullback. Other than obviously, we saw his one-on-one try saver on Saturday, which was fantastic. But he's for a guy who plays 10 and a little bit of 12. He's really good at getting involved in the breakdown. He's a nuisance around that. He's a real solid tackler in close quarters, and he's going to lose a lot of that playing fullback, which is a bit of a shame. I don't think he'll struggle. I don't think that's going to be a weak spot or anything like that. But I do think it doesn't play to the biggest strengths of his game to have him there. It just seems to be more out of necessity than anything else.
Yeah, Craig, it's 60 bench for Saturday. Kinghorn's going to be on the wing. Tom Jordan offers that versatility, but I mean, you look at the Scotland back division, they all seem to be able to play everywhere. You get Hugh Jones, who spent a bit at 15. Tuipulotu played 12, 13. He spent a lot of his time on the wing over in Japan. That's actually one of the things that, when you'd said about Craig around Scotland players needing to go out of their comfort zone. I think Tuipulotu's done that early in his career, and now he's in the comfort zone because, he didn't get his breakthrough at Australia. Then he went to Japan. He seems quite intent. He seems quite intent on playing against Australia and showing them what they've missed. You look at Scotland's back division. Do you think they are, as Johnny said, all linesable? If that's a word, or it's a word now, linesable.
The problem you have is Farrell, and World Rugby's fascination with Ireland, because you just think that no matter how, I think we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be howling with discontent fairly soon when we find out who's been picked for the Lions team. Because I can guarantee you, with Farrell on board, you're probably going to find that Lawrence will go instead of Tuipulotu. We'll end up with Henry Slade instead of Hugh Jones. We'll end up with quite a lot of Irish people.
Elliot Daly will be there.
Yeah, Elliot Daly will be there. Mac Hansen will go on the wing. I would love to see Tuipulotu go. I think Blair Kinghorn should go. I think Darcy Graham should go. I think Duhan van der Merwe's coat is on a sugary peg at the moment with that side of things. So I really do think that Jameson Gibson Park is going to go as your first choice scrum half, and I don't see Ben White going instead of you're probably going to see one of the English players going instead at scrum half. So it's just one of those situations. It just depends who's fit and what's going to happen. But if Darcy can be fit, I think he'll go. I think you might see Tuipulotu go at least. But I just I'm not sure. I think Scotland fans need to be ready for the usual Lions Scottish hatred. The only reason we had a lot of Scottish players go this time was because Tooney was part of the coaching staff.
So back row is one of our. We're loaded with talent there. On Saturday, I thought Gilchrist and Cummings, like we've said previously, the set piece worked well, line out and scrum, maybe a couple of dodgy arrows here and there. I don't know. At first, whenever my player ratings, I gave Dar just 6, just because I thought he wasn't as effervescent as usual. Then Dave handily added a stat that said that he'd made the most tackles. Jack Dempsey and Matt Fagerson, they had, because of the nature of the game, they didn't have to really do a lot, but then they sort of came into things in the second half. Craig, what do you make of the loose 5? And again, seeing as it's one of South Africa's strengths, do you think that the right people have been chosen?
Yeah, I think they did the job that they need to do on the game at the weekend. I think they were, we saw an okay performance from the full forward pack. I think, and when I say okay, it's probably because they weren't utilised as much as we've been utilising them before. I would say where the biggest change I see at the moment with the game plan is that we don't seem to be jackling anymore. We very rarely are going in for the penalty. Whether it was because Fiji aren't letting us in, or whether Tooney's just decided he's not putting the players in there. But we tend to find, and where we used to give away penalties on a regular basis, constantly throughout a game, was when we were going in for the ball too much, and not keep trying to go for the ball, keep trying to fetch, and that's where the penalties were coming. So I don't know whether Tooney's just reacted to that by pulling these players back and saying, let's just continue to defend and let's not chase the ball all the time. But that's why we're not seeing Darge, because that's Darge's meeting to veg, isn't it? Really, he's always been in there, and he's, that's what he's made his name on. That's what Jamie Ritchie's made his name on. That's what Hamish Watson made his name on. Is apart from being a pinball, is going and putting in turnovers. Fagerson, I don't. He obviously does it, but he doesn't come across as a natural fetcher of the ball. He's more of a go forward player. Same with the old Australian. He tends to be a go forward player rather than a defensive jackler. So I think we saw a different usage of the back row in this game, so that's why we were maybe going, well, we didn't see very much from the forwards. So as you've discussed with Gilchrist and Cummings, they did the job that they were asked to do. They're a good engine room. They scrummaged well. They did well on the line out, and also we did maul it well as well. So yeah, I think it was a good performance for the forward pack, but it just wasn't one of those ones where they shone, because I think the backs shone more than they did.
Yeah, well, dynamic. Nobody really stood it, but it was effective. And that sometimes, effectiveness is good.
Absolutely.
Lastly, just before I go, Jonny Ali Price. I gave him a 6 out of 10 because his distribution was like when Scotland were in the ascendancy, and when it was easy to attack, nice crisp passing. Some of his kicking was a bit iffy, to put it mildly. One in particular was a real. It was out in the full, so Fiji ended up with a line out sort of round about the Scotland 22, and it was a sort of real momentum shifter around about that sort of 25-30 minute mark. Ben White starting because we know he's the first choice number 9. Do you think that we've seen the last of Ali Price? Now there's a 6-2 bench this weekend, so Dobie's on there because he can cover wing as well. Is Ali Price going to be back? Or what is the scrum half pecking order, do you reckon? Because George Horne again has been left out. Boo.
Oh, Johnny's.
I think Johnny's frozen.
Either fallen asleep or he's frozen. But
all right.
But to answer that question,
the man who's seen.
Yeah, Ali Price. He's getting better. He seems to be getting. He seems to be. My goodness, is there not a Six Nations set coming up fairly soon? So maybe he's getting better. He's decided he's wanting to play a bit better, and we've not seen the last of him. But I think what's throwing me completely is the lack of George Horne. George Horne doesn't seem to be getting a look in at all. Dobie covers and we'll talk about it in the Patreon, but Dobie covers the wing as well and can do a couple of jobs. But yeah, I don't think we'll see Ali Price again unless he comes and gets a bit of game time against Portugal. But I would think you're probably going to find that that Ben White will get some chance with Portugal along with, and hopefully we'll see George Horn at some point. But yeah, I think Ali Price got his match and he did okay.
Can't believe I got.
Okay, we'll just pause there.
So
Johnny's back. Yeah. So we'll pause there and we'll go to Patreon after. I need to go to the bathroom. Cool. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back. Oh, quickly before we go, predictions for Saturday then. I'm going to go. I will lose by like 6.
I think South Africa by 10, sadly.
Yeah, and I think South Africa by 14.
All right, cool. The pessimistic Scottish Rugby podcast is done for this week. We'll be back in a wee second for the Patreon bit. From now, cheery bye.
Bye all.
Bye all.